Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Schultz.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are very thankful for all the blessings you provide. Please continue your hand of grace over our schools, our police, our service, our fire, our administration, and our visitors. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you much, Councilman Schultz. Okay, we're here for the Monday, July 10th, 2023 council meeting. Roll call, Ms. Rowley.
Mr. Ziegler, Mr. Fenstermaker,
Here.
Ms. Grazia, Mr. Hamer,
Here.
Mr. Lowry,
Here.
Mr. Schulz,
Here.
Mr. Smolik,
Here. Okay, we've got a public hearing on ordinance number 23-053. It was an ordinance approving of the property owner's request to rezone parcel number 20A002-0-00-002-0 from institutional and office district to R3D Single Family Residential District, submitting the issue to the electorate pursuant to Article 5, Section 5 of the city's charter and declaring an emergency. We open the meeting up to anybody from the public who had any questions pertaining to this parcel. Yes, sir. If you could state your name and address, please, sir.
My name is Dennis Falvey. I'm a real estate broker. Remax Results is my firm. I'm here on behalf of Valerie Bauman, the trustee for the Vera Keck family. And I had distributed just some key considerations along with some addenda, some maps, and some engineering detail. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Mr. Valley was at Planning and Zoning initially, answered any questions at that one. At this time, if council has any questions pertaining to the zoning? Not at this time. Thank you so very much for coming in.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, and I believe we are going to want to later on in the meeting.
Nope, not yet. You still want to open it up for public comment
Okay,
on this? That's the public hearing. It's their opportunity
Okay.
to speak as it relates to it.
okay, that will be through public, okay, when we get down to that one, right?
Nope, nope.
Oh, right
That's
now?
right now.
Yeah,
This is a
okay.
public hearing.
Okay, any public comment on that?
Whether it's in favor or against, you know. Okay. Now that there being no public comment, now you can close the,
Okay, going to
public
close the public session on ordinance number 23-0-53. Okay, on to department reports. Chief Hutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. No formal report tonight. Wonderstruck, I've been asked, was pretty uneventful for us. Not very busy at all from an EMS standpoint. Tomorrow at 7 a.m., the Cleveland Clinic Mentor opens up, so we'll be able to transport patients there. And other than that, I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for Chief Hutton? How many people attended you for the Wonderstruck?
It looked like the numbers were down, probably about 5,000 on Sunday, maybe 3,500 on Saturday.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for Chief Hutton? Chief McAllister.
Thank you, Council President. No report from the police standpoint. Just echo the same comments for Wonderstruck with the chief. Everything went well from the police side. No issues or anything reported. I don't even think the city had any noise complaints concerning the actual music coming from the event. The only other thing I would say, you guys can see when you walk in, we're starting to set up the reading area out there. We had a delay on our bookcases being delivered, so we were expecting to get those in last Monday. So we're going to wait till the 17th. They should be here, so we'll get those constructed and finally get the area put together. But that'll conclude my report, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief McAllister? Actually, Chief, for the Wonderstruck, where do they end up doing all the parking? There was a front and the back part of the properties for that event? The
Yeah,
parking is exclusively all on their site over there, or do they need?
Everything was Lakeland. I know in past years, they had some overflow arrangements, but I actually don't know if they had that this
Oh,
year, if
okay.
it was necessary.
Okay, thank you much, Chief. Mr. Fenaro?
Good evening, everybody. Still working on grass. Baseball is still going, wrapping up this week, and a couple ditch eliminations. I would like to, maybe public service announcement, please slow down through construction zones. We're in the heart of construction season, so please be cautious to everybody. And I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Fenaro?
Mr. Fenaro, I see you had a temporary signal out right near the cemetery. How's that functioning for your safety?
It worked great. So thanks Chardon Township. Those are theirs. They let us borrow them. We kind of switched tractors for lights. So we're real thankful for them.
What kind of delay do you have on that?
So it's 35 seconds going northbound with a 29 gap in between, and it's 30 seconds going south.
Oh, okay. Very reasonable. Just that one frontage is being eliminated, that for the ditch?
There's two.
Oh, there's two there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Fenaro? Mr. Courtney?
Welcome. No formal report tonight. I will mention that the contractor for Old Town is working on grading and topsoil and seeding. I drove through there today and they were working on both Eisenhower and Elm. Other than that, that concludes my report. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Courtney?
Hey, Mr. Courtney, I do see that Eisenhower, majority of that road was paved on both sides. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement.
Thank you.
If I could jump back in. So the loop is broken at Eisenhower. So if you notice that light being a little longer delayed, you'll have a 40-second wait on the side streets because it's cycling all the time. We're working on getting a contractor in to fix the loop.
Thank you. Any more questions for Mr. Courtney?
Mr. Courtney, I know that the one project I'm going to bring up has been ongoing for a long period of time, but Rec Park Drive, the culvert that involves the county engineer and I think it's, I don't know if it's Ohio EPA or the feds. Could you please check on the status of that? Because it's a culvert relining that began under Mayor Davidson and
That project is idle right now.
pardon me?
The project is idle right
Is it idle because of environmental funding or with?
now. Funding primarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Courtney? Mr. Slapnicker? And welcome back from Florida. Hope you had a nice vacation.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President. We had our 6:30 p.m. Finance Committee meeting already. That was my formal report, if you will. And I'm available for any additional questions.
Any questions for Mr. Slapnicker? Thank you much for the early meeting, Mr. Slapnicker. On to Mr. Lallo.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one thing to note, per Mr. Fernaro's request, the city is going to solicit bids for trash and recycling collection. That should be going out, I think, tomorrow and the following week as well. So hopefully we'll have some competitive bids and everything, but I know I saw that coming through my email. Aside from that, the only new piece of legislation is that 23054 at the request of Mr. Fernaro and Mayor Potter. It was discussed at the last meeting. The only thing this changes is the snapshot or the date for the fiscal year for comp time. I think part of the issue was they didn't necessarily want the like the service department employees to be cashing in on comp time during plow season, right? And to try to give them a little bit, a little extra room to be able to use that. But I think that was really the rationale. It's confirmed there's no other additional costs or anything to it. It's just for that purpose. And then as it relates to 23053, I know there are 5 members of council here tonight. If council is looking to authorize this, it does have to go to the electorate. And if you're looking to submit it to the electorate, it would need to either waive 3 readings and be a unanimous vote, or pass unanimously as well, declare an emergency and adopt, so it goes into effect immediately so that it can get to the electorate or to the Board of Elections before that August deadline. Alternatively, the only thing that can be done would be setting this for a special meeting to address this on a third reading.
Okay.
But I'll leave the rest up to you,
We
though.
didn't have any public comments on it, so I think we should be able to accommodate that today, especially since we're going to be out for 5-6 weeks. Next meeting's not till what, August 20th? I can't remember what the
21st.
date was.
So aside from that, I have nothing further to add.
Quick question for Mr. Fenaro. Waste management, do we know of any complaints in the community or from residents that stand out that we should be aware of?
So I do, I get their monthly report. At the most, there's 5 to 6, not every month. I brought that at our last committee meeting, and it was more of, there was one missed trash, there was one my can got out late, but nothing that was eye-pop.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Joe.
And that was 5 complaints, you said, Mr. Farrell? How many complaints?
I want to say it was 13 total.
Oh, okay, and that was over the course of the contract then, too,
Correct.
right? Okay. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Farrar, or Mr. Lallo, actually? Thank you very much. Ms. Zeri, anything for the Community Senior Center?
No formal report tonight. Just a reminder that we have our second concert in the gazebo this Wednesday night, sponsored by the Friends of the Library. And as I mentioned last week, our rain plan is to hold it at the community center. So we had a really good time at a potluck today. So it was nice seeing all the seniors come out, and looking forward to another bus trip tomorrow. So good things are always happening, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you much, Teresa. Any questions for Ms. Zeri? Thank you much. Mayor Potter.
Thank you, Council President Smolik. I say this a lot. I'm going to try to be brief, but tonight I think I can do it. Fungry Food Truck will be out Wednesday night here in front of City Hall for the gazebo concert. As Teresa mentioned, if for some reason we get rain or thunderstorms, we would move that up to the community center. So come out and support that. Next week we'll have another concert on Wednesday night, and that'll also be weather dependent. Tomorrow night at our planning and zoning meeting, I think I brought this up last week, we will see a group will be presenting to planning and zoning on the prospect of bringing a nursing development, nursing home at the corner of 6 and 306. And so I invite all people to come out and kind of see. I haven't seen the renderings yet myself, but having seen previous institutions that this group has worked on, I think people will be happy to see that there is a potential development there. And then obviously we will be talking from there about what the opportunity for bringing sewers up to 6 along 306 in the coming years. So that's going to kind of be the catalyst for that conversation. So welcome all of you to show up, and I am open for any questions. I told you I was going to be quick.
Any questions for Mayor Potter? Thank you much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, on to standing committee reports. We had a service committee meeting pertaining to equipment going up rocks from the service department earlier today at 6. Denise, I believe I sent you my committee reports from the previous 2 service committees today. Mr. Councilman Schultz had a finance committee meeting previous to the meeting. And other than that, anything else pertaining to standing committee meetings?
Sir.
Okay. I didn't see any correspondence, Ms. Raleigh? Nothing for,
Well, in my email, I asked for the zoning permit as far as for streets that are not yet dedicated. That would be in the Parks Farm subdivision.
We have to give authority to
Correct.
the council. You would need a vote to authorize Mr. Courtney as engineer to issue permits, so long as they're in conformance with everything else while you're on recess.
okay.
There is, do you remember,
That's, you mentioned that.
I'm trying to pull that up.
That last week's,
It's essentially, you're authorizing the city engineer to issue a permit for a house on a street that is not yet dedicated.
We're doing that right now then?
So we would call for a motion.
Motion to approve allowing
Motion to
Mr. Courtney.
authorize Engineer Courtney to issue a permit on behalf of council or to issue a permit on behalf of council for a house to be, or for a permit on, not on a, oh. Sorry. I had it and then I lost it.
Okay, I make a motion to authorize Mr. Courtney to have the ability to issue a permit on a street that has not yet been dedicated.
On behalf of,
On behalf of council.
On behalf.
Need a second of it?
second,
Councilman Schultz with the motion, Councilman Fenstermaker with the second. Ms. Raleigh, if you could call roll.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Mr. Schulz,
Yes.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes. Sorry, forgot about that one, Matt. And that's it for correspondence. On to public comments on matters not on the agenda. We open up the public for any comments they have on anything they're thinking about. Come on, Sterling, you got something for us today? Okay, on to old business. We have ordinance number 23.
Public comments on items.
Oh, sorry.
Agenda items of old business. You have to entertain public comments on agenda items of old business.
Oh, sorry, missed that one. Sorry about that, Matt. Thank you. Public comments on agenda items of old business. Any comments on old business? That would be 23053. Not at this time. Okay, on to ordinance number 23-0-53. Second reading, an ordinance approving the property owner's request to rezone parcel number 20-A-002-0-002-0 from institutional and office district to R3D, single-family residential district, submitting the issue to the electorate pursuant to Article 5, Section 5 of the city's charter, and declaring an emergency. And I believe we wanted to,
I make a motion to waive the 3 readings.
thank you. Second?
Second,
Any questions or comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Fenstermaker,
yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Mr. Schulz,
Yes.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes. Now we need a,
Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second,
thank you. Any questions, comments?
That requires a 55% vote of the registered voters or total?
Of all those that vote, 55% affirmative vote. So, of all those that vote, it must pass by 55% or more.
Whether it's 100 voters or 3,000 voters, 55%.
That is correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Fenstermaker,
yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Mr. Schulz,
Yes.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes. Okay, on to new business. Any public comments on agenda items of new business? And there is just one today. Any public comments? Okay, on to ordinance number 23-0-54, an ordinance amending section 254.29 of the codified ordinances of the city of Kirtland regarding compensatory time, and declaring an emergency. Any questions? And we wanted,
You want it to pass?
since it's just updating.
Yes, I believe we would ask that it pass today, that it waive 3 readings and pass today, because I think the way it's currently written, the cutoff is August 1st. So this would extend it. Is that accurate?
Please, it would help. Our guys will be able to
I make
plan
a motion to waive
vacation.
the 3 readings.
Second,
Matt and Ron. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Fenstermaker,
yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Mr. Schulz,
Yes.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes. No motion?
Make a motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Give a second.
Second.
Who was that second? Mr. Hamer. Wasn't used to that. He caught me off guard there today. So. Any questions or comments?
I have a couple questions. I guess, do do the employees, they have a choice of getting paid or taking comp time, or how are you seeing it fall? Most people are taking comp time at time and a half?
Correct. Instead of getting their overtime, they could use it as comp time.
Okay.
This was kind of a work in progress. We never had nothing on the book, so we've changed this a couple times. We're trying to get it to work to fit both us and our staff, and I think this is going to be the fit.
Yeah, to dovetail on that, the city has paid comp time to non-bargaining unit employees for a number of years when didn't appear to be on the books in our code of ordinances. So we kind of fixed that, cleaned that up, and as he noted, Mr. Fernaro noted, it's a work in progress. So we're just trying to figure out exactly how best to codify it. So this is really the third time around. But it's just, again, trying to clean everything up and make it as efficient as possible for Mr. Fernaro.
Do all the employees in the service department hit the 80 hours? Do all the employees hit the 80 hours? And for the extent, because we're going from 80 to 104, so
That didn't change. It's always been 104.
okay. Maybe I misunderstood when I looked at this.
The original ordinance that was created back in January of 22, I believe, may have been 80 hours, or it extended it to 104 hours. Then there was a modification a month later that changed the date for the fiscal year. That did not add up. This is simply changing the date again, and it's not happening.
Oh, okay.
I should have shared that with you before, Councilman Schultz. I did email earlier about if this was going to have any budget effect this year, and that was the response. It's only a day change, no increase in the amount of hours. This should have no effect on the budget.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Raleigh, this was a declare an emergency and adopt from Mr. Lowry, and second by Scott. That's right. Okay, Ms. Raleigh?
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Mr. Scholes,
Yes.
Mr. Smollett,
Yes. Okay, any on to council comments? Any council comments? Any continuing concerns? Motion for adjournment.